Hey everyone, it's Shannon and
Amy, who's stuck on mute.
girl, don't leave me hanging like that.
I know, it was like perfect timing.
Hey, two. Hey everyone, it's Shannon and
Amy, your joyful marketing specialist.
we are here today to talk about events of all kinds online. We are ready to rock and roll today. We've got a special camera hooked up. Hopefully it'll work when I'm ready to flip it over. People are loving my drawings, Amy. They're like,
I was gonna say, this camera is pretty cool. I have to admit, even though I'm not a drawer, I definitely am a little jealous and might become a drawer just because this camera is so cool.
well, listen, you got to connect with Stacy Christopher. She can transform anyone into an artist. I am convinced of it. Absolutely convinced of it. All right, Amy, do you see us in the Facebook group?
I do, and Stacy's there.
Okay, good. So hello, everyone. Welcome. If you're here, please say hello in the comments. If you're catching the replay, you know it's hashtag replay. Amy and I haven't seen each other for a few days. She was off and I was off. And so who the hell knows what's going to happen? It's kind of like, here we are. Let's do this thing. So Amy, okay. First of all, I want to be very clear with everyone. And this is a new position I'm going to take and I'm going to just drill it home. And I've asked Amy to drill it home. We are not doing you a service in your business if you think that we are giving you the how in these videos, in our workshop weeks, in our trainings. Yes, we give valuable information, but when it comes down to it, if you really want to learn how to be successful at this stuff, you will enroll in a program with us. Because why would we teach all of our secrets? I don't even like that word. All the tools, all the tactics, all the strategy for free. We wouldn't. And we actually teach people how to do this, how to go live, how to give value without giving it all away. Because in the end, I'm a business owner. I want to make some money. So Amy, what do you want to say about that? Because we're going to start drilling that in big time.
Well, and I think, as a person who followed you for 6 years before getting in to the Confident Expert program, I wish I would have been smarter and done it earlier. I think I would be miles, so many miles further ahead than where I am today. And I'm appreciative where I am today, very thankful to be on the team here and to be here with you guys, and all of the connections that we're creating are amazing. But I really wish I would have made that investment in myself, in my business earlier on in my career than just holding out.
Yeah. And it's so true. So here's the thing I want everyone to know. I'm a badass at teaching. I fucking teach my ass off. And I own it. And everyone who knows me knows it. Like, this is what people love about me. I'm honest. I stay in my zone of genius and I'm going to teach my ass off. But I want to be really clear. If you want the strategy and the how this stuff actually works and how to do it without burnout, without wasting time, without wasting energy, without wasting money, without pissing people off, without screwing everything up, you'll come into my program and you'll work with me in the program. Because if you think this is awesome on this side, you should see what's happening on the other side.
Come to the other side.
Come to the other side. All right. So before we get going with today's training, which I love talking event strategy, online events, offline events. I just want to say we have 2 events coming up that you're going to want to get registered for. The first one is Confidence on Camera. It is our workshop next week. It's a 4-day workshop. We kick off on July 28th. You can register at mshannonhernandez.com/confidence-on-camera. This is a free workshop. You're going to get tons of value. We're going to ask you to join us in the program. Hello, that's where the magic really happens. But come learn some camera tricks. Come learn how to put some great energy and mojo behind your camera. So you can get on camera just like this and be confident and have fun with your people and build community and sign clients. That's really what that workshop is about. So that's the first opportunity to work with us. And then Amy is going to tell you about the next mini mastermind. Amy hosts these and she got raving reviews on the first one. So that's a lot of fun.
Shannon's not the only teacher in this pod, so that you know.
Amy, glad to share it.
It's so cool that like our teaching styles are very differently, but yet our theories and practices of marketing and selling are very cohesive. And so it's just like you get such a robust experience when you come and talk to all of us. Diane and Dondra are also very different. But coming back to my mini mastermind, which is July 27th, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we're talking about hosting intimate virtual events for deeper transformation and connection. And, you know, right now we can't really meet in person, depending on what state you're in and everything along those lines. So I know a lot of you are still struggling with this virtual environment. So come, there's only room for 8 of you. Come sit, we'll talk through the struggles, come with your questions. What have you tried? What haven't you tried? And let's really leave that Monday session with your next best step for your business. And I think the cool thing that I was telling Shannon about the mini mind last week is everybody was at a different stage in their business. We have someone who hasn't even started their business yet. We had someone who's been in business for a while. And I would almost I felt so honored to be in the presence of this person because they've been such a rock star for so long. So it's very valuable to have the time and space dedicated to really laser focus on this one topic to help take that next step within your business. So the next one is July 27th, virtual events.
Yes, and we keep them super small. You're going to learn why in a minute because we're talking about events. And there are 8 seats available for each one, and they are $125 for each mini mastermind. So Amy, do you have the link or do you remember the link?
Yeah, so it's mshannonhernandez.com/mini mastermind. I will go ahead and add it into the comments so that way you all have it. And I can go ahead and pull the other one as well if you want me to.
Cool. That's awesome. So if you are here with us, welcome. And here's what we want to know from you today in the comments to kind of kick us off. How many of you are hosting online events? Are you having Zoom events? Are you doing any kind of retreats, workshops, masterminds, online programs? All of these are events. And one of the things that I know just from working in the event space and really, you know, I'm going to own it today. I own that event space for putting on powerful events that transform people. Everyone will tell you that. People in my program will tell you. People who have been to my live events will tell you. And I think one of the most brilliant things is that teaching background has served me well, because I had to step into a classroom of sometimes 40 8th graders in Harlem. The last thing they wanted to think about was reading. Let's be real. Writing, not on their radar, not applicable to what was going on in their lives. And I really had to become a performer to capture 90 students a day who came through my door. It was either that or I was going to get my ass handed to me every day and eaten alive, right? So when we talk about these events today, and Amy and I are going to go through like the 6 kind of stages of a great, well put together virtual event, I want you all to know this is years and years of me having to figure this out so that I could survive a teaching job in the New York City Department of Schools. Okay, and I think a lot of people don't realize that, right? That I pull so much on my background as a teacher and as creating engaging learning spaces that are fun. You know, my kids didn't want to come to a classroom. They couldn't wait to get to Miss Hernandez's room. Like they counted down for that. All right. So we got some magic going on today. We're going to do some fun stuff. What do we got in the comments, Amy? Anything?
So far, no questions, anything like that. You know, we're just getting all the links put in too for the mini mastermind and the confidence on camera workshop. So, but you guys, if you have any questions as we're going through this, please post them in the comments so that we can answer them here live with you.
Yeah. Okay, everyone, look at that. I'm so excited.
That's the coolest camera I've seen.
Okay, so the very first thing I want everyone to know is I actually want to, we always talk about messaging and marketing. We're going to meet people where they are. I am crossing out events and I want to replace it with experiences.
Yes.
Okay, Amy, what do you think is the difference between an everyday event that everyone's doing and an experience?
So I really think, again, it's like almost as the attendee, I want to be able to be involved. I want my questions to be answered. I want to feel like my time spent with you is valuable, respected, and taken into consideration when I'm sitting and learning with you and engaging with you. So it's not just reading a book or hearing someone present. One thing Shannon always tells me is stop presenting, make sure it's a conversation. And I think that feeds into that experience instead of event comparison.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We have a comment I have to address. Stacy,
Okay.
I love you. She said, the fun thing is you get to say fuck now when you teach. How awesome is that? I'm going to just put it out there and say, I was that teacher who used shit and fuck to connect with my students, totally got the street cred for it. They kept it a secret. It was never done when I was angry. Like, I'm like, come on, what are you fucking doing? Let's go. Like, come on, you're wasting time, right? And administration never found out. They never told their parents because I was the one who met them where they were and related to them, right? So if we want to talk about that, that's for another live.
Right.
Okay, Amy, what's number one of creating an intimate transformational event? What are we talking about?
All right. So I think this kind of peels back to what I was just talking about. You have to make sure you set the stage and that you have the right environment. And, I'm curious, Shannon, how are we doing this in a virtual setting? We don't have a stage to decorate with projectors and flowers and mics.
Yeah. So one of the things, and you just actually enrolled in this and went through it, was the Joy Money retreat online, right? We had a virtual one. So what did you get prior to even showing up? How did I set the stage? There were lots of little things that were happening before you ever showed up to that online event.
Hold on, I got to move my laptop so I can show you. I got a box, a really beautiful box that Shannon told me I couldn't open until the actual event. So it was worse than Christmas. And then in it was everything that we needed for the workshop. And I loved it because it's like you're getting candles. We got a book to write in. We got the actual material for us to take part and engage and have that experience. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this box is still packed full of stuff.
Yeah. So we set the stage by one, sending out something in the mail. That was super fun. Okay. Yeah. And then what happened when you found out who else was in the group? Do you remember we started a little Facebook Messenger?
Exactly. So now, we were able to meet each other and get to know each other better before we had this experience. And then even after, there was recap and questions and how are you doing? And Cheryl was seeing turtles all over the place, reminding her to be slow and steady. Yeah. And, there was 4 of us total. I'm going to have that connection with those other attendees for the rest of my life. And I don't get that a lot of times in big events, in big conferences. And it was just so crazy getting to know these people in such a unique setting that we'll be able to continue conversations for years to come.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So everyone, write it down on your paper, set the stage. How are you going to make this so super special and memorable before they even arrive at your Zoom doorstep, right? That's what we're talking about. And listen, I'm going to say it again. There are millions of ways. I'm not teaching you the how right here. Okay? We're going over to expand your horizons, whet your appetite, and hopefully you're going to say, holy shit, that was good. Let me reach out to Amy. I'm ready to get enrolled. Like, I want to go have some of that, right? All right,
Yeah.
Amy, so setting the stage is super important for all kinds of events, but today we're talking about actually online experiences, right?
Right.
Okay, what's number 2?
So we are going to talk about setting the tone because that's super key as well.
Okay. All right. What does it say with the side note there on setting the tone? Do you have it?
So how do you prep your people before they even arrive is key. And then as well as within the first few minutes of opening your event.
Okay, I love this. Now, if you guys want to get super savvy and want me to geek out, this is also where a lot of you are losing sales. How do you set the tone when people arrive to your Zoom meeting for a sale? How do you set the tone setting up that sales call so everyone knows exactly what to expect? This transfers over into how do you set the tone for an event. So I want you to imagine you have an event, 6, 10, 20 people, doesn't matter. They all come into Zoom. Are you telling people the ground rules? Are you telling people put your camera on or step out? Like, we're here to create connection. We cannot create connection if you hide behind your camera, right? And you hide behind your screen, right? Are you telling people to mute themselves so you have a clean recording? Are you going to let the mute button go off and you just get what you get, right? Are you telling people the flow of your event, how long they're going to be there, when the breaks are? You may remember, Amy, for Joy Money Retreat, I really went over this. Like, we're meeting today. This is the time. We're going to have a break. Then we're going to come back. And we really set the tone because guess what? Tying this back to the classroom, all those students ever cared about is when was recess and when was lunch. That was it.
Yeah.
So you
better, it doesn't change when you're an adult.
No. So you better believe when they came in 4th period, I'd say, okay, everyone, I was this teacher too, right? You all have a snack. This is at 11 because we had late lunch this year. You all have a snack. Please take it out. We're going to have a snack while we get going in class today. Lunch is not until 1:15. We can do this. Let's get your snack and let's go. They were happy. They got to eat. They knew when lunch was. They just came from the bathroom. We're good. I took care of all the things they wanted to know in the first 30 seconds, right?
Right.
This is huge because here's what happens. People will get into Zoom and in their mind, they're saying, when is lunch? When is a break? Am I going to be able to go to the bathroom? Oh my God, I got a call. I need to get on. Is this recorded? You need to do your job as the host and lay the foundation and let everyone know what's what and what your expectations are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the huge part.
One thing that I really love that you do when you do our power hours in the Confident Expert program is you lay all those out so that all of us attending the live event know exactly what to expect, right? Like you just said, and then you pause and then you go and record the content so that also it's not crap that's, I'm watching the recording later. I don't care when you're going to the bathroom and whatnot. Like, you start the content at the time so it makes sense for anybody who's watching it recorded later.
Yeah, nobody wants to watch a replay about when the bathroom breaks are.
Yeah. How to use the chat feature.
Yeah. So you need to do your job as an event host. This is how you show your expertise. This is how you get people on board with what's happening in the event. But also, you know what you're doing? You're positioning yourself as the expert. And this is what we talk about all day long, the Confident Expert program, because when you position yourself as an expert and you show up as the expert and you're consistently showing up as the expert, that is when your business will change drastically. All right, Amy, what's number 3?
This one's really, really important too. Well, they're all really important, but we're creating a safe, sacred space for growth and transformation. It's so key.
Yeah. The work we do is important.
Yeah.
People cry. People have huge revelations. This is why we talk about transformational events, right? How do we create those safe, sacred spaces? So you had a mastermind last week. What did you address this at all? Like, it seems like people pretty much felt really safe there to share what needed to be shared.
Yep, and I think it was, the key of setting the stage and saying that, this is your chance. This is your stage. This is your environment. We can talk through things. We are all business owners and we are here to support each other. But also, one thing that Shannon is very good at is kind of calling you out or seeing, I wish I could remember how Diane said it, seeing the label from the inside of the jar.
Yeah.
And knowing that it's all coming from a loving place. And, I've had some conversations over the last week, and there are times that I'm scared for business owners because they just aren't able to see. So we need to take that pause and talk through this together and know there is light at the end of the tunnel and we will get through it. But you have to feel safe and secure in order to do that.
Yeah. And this, too, going back to the classroom is, you come in and if we're going to have a tough conversation, and I often do this in my virtual events and my live events too, is, hey, can we all agree that what happens in this classroom, what happens in this Zoom room, what happens in this event stays in this event? Because people are going to cry. People are going to have breakthroughs. People are going to want to throw the whole fucking towel in on joy money and their whole business and be like, I'm done. I am out. Are we good with keeping it sacred and safe here? And then you may remember, Amy, I would make everyone go around and voice it. Mm-hmm. Give a verbal agreement that, yeah, we're going to keep it safe here. This is a safe space. Yeah. Okay. So everyone, if you want to be a better event leader, coach, and consultant, because those go together in my book, right? You've got to be so clear on your expectations and giving people a safe, sacred space to grow and do the work that's required to grow this business that we're growing. All right, Amy, number 4.
Okay, so learning activities that are engaging and meaningful.
All right, what do you want to say about boring shit in teachers' school? Like, come on, let me have it. I can take it.
I mean, it almost it makes you question. So here's what I use to engage when I am teaching in a virtual event is, are they checking their email? Are they looking at the screen? I love a platform that tells you whether or not they're clicked off of the screen or not, because that is a clear indication this is not meaningful and this is not engaging.
Yeah. So, pulling back to that classroom, if I was a talking head, that was it. Because that's what teachers were, most of them. They were talking heads. Over. Yep. So guess what? We had shoes off day. Come in, take shoes off. That's fun. Already right there, they're like, oh my God, I get to take my shoes off. Like, who is right? We had switch desk day, sit on top of the desk, wherever, sit where you want, bring a beanbag. I don't care. Like, let's get people comfortable and do things that are meaningful to them. That's the key. Too many business owners are thinking about how to be relevant to themselves and how to be meaningful to themselves. Nobody cares until they know that you care about them. Okay? So when you guys are putting together your learning activities, and once again, we're not giving you the how here, but I've got suitcases full of ideas. Are we breaking people into Zoom rooms and putting them in groups? What are we doing? Are we sending people out under a tree to do some journaling and come back and share what their reflections were? Are we going to have people? I hosted a virtual brunch. A lot of people don't even know this. In this group, I asked a month and a half ago, if I hosted a brunch, what question would you ask me? And what would you hope I asked you? And only 6 people answered. And guess what? Those 6 people came to a virtual brunch with me last Saturday. And it was beautiful. We all brought our food. We all brought our questions and we sat around. Stacy was there. James was there. Hey, Steve, welcome. There were people there and they said, oh my God, this was so amazing to be able to share this time with each other, to build the community this way and get to know each other. That was meaningful. We didn't talk any business. In fact, I set the stage and set the tone at the beginning and said in a Facebook message, I don't want to talk about business here. You don't go to brunch to talk about business and marketing strategy and like business strategy. You go to brunch to have great conversations with friends, right? So everyone, you need to think about your content. You need to think about your curriculum. You need to think about how you're getting people involved in the learning activities so that the learning is meaningful, it is engaging, it is exciting. They get off the mastermind with Amy. You guys wouldn't believe this. I was sitting at the pool and I get a message from Melissa, who had gone to the mastermind with Amy, and she said, "Oh my God, Amy is so awesome. I'm so glad I went to that mastermind." I was like, "Oh, tell me about it." And I was like so excited for her. Okay. You've got to get past screen shares and, get fancy, get a down cam, like do something that's going to bring people in and get people talking to each other. Because at the end of the day, we want events that connect people deeper to themselves, deeper to their mission, deeper to their vision, and deeper to each other. That's what transformational events are about. All right, number 5.
My fave, storytelling. Share stories throughout the event. And you're going to create those lasting connections. And plus, you're going to really help create that sense of community. And I love a good story sharing session.
Yeah. So you guys, in the back end on the Confident Expert program, there's an entire piece about story marketing. Because here's what we know. Story sells. Those of you who are watching right now, you're probably like, holy shit, I never imagined Shannon would let her kids take off their shoes, eat snacks, sit where they wanted, tell them when recess and lunch was. It's a story. It's a story. And story is what engages people. This is why you see so many of my posts and my videos, we are sharing the stories that matter. And they matter whether they're relevant to you or not, because you can feel the emotion. You can feel the human element of it. You can relate to the person who's struggled trying to get events online, and then they went to a mastermind and they were like, whoa, I am doing this. I am going to do this. I am going to get into that program and I'm going to figure this out. Like, this is where my fire is, right? We need that for you. And the way that you convey everything you want to convey is through story marketing. Hands down, story marketing is what sells every single time. Okay. In fact, Amy, let me get something right quick. I meant to grab it. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. You'll know what this is when you see it.
Okay. Oh yeah, you painted that the other day, right?
So I painted this, and this went out in my email with these 6 tips, right? And here's the story behind this, and this is why it's so important. Sorry. I enrolled in a class, and she said, we're going to paint people. And I freaked the fuck out because I was like, I don't know how to even draw people. How am I going to paint people? I don't know how to, my brain started like, and she said, she set the stage. This is what we're doing. My brain freaked out. Then she set the tone. She said, you may have never drawn people before or painted people, but I'm going to show you how to do it. And she said, we're going to put 8 marks over here on the side of this paper. And your adult is 8 and the child is 4. That way your proportions are right. She said, if you can just trust me on this, your people will look like people. And I'm like, I don't trust her on this. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm going to do it, but I don't know what's going to happen here. So I drew my lines and I left them there as a reminder that that was an important piece. That was her setting the tone and the expectation, but also creating a super safe space. Yep. And then she said, if you just remember, you can always take your water and wash this watercolor off and start again. You can always get a new paper. And I was like, oh God, that feels so good. I don't have to have a masterpiece right now. Right?
It looks pretty good.
Yeah, it was really fun. And so this was an online experience that transformed me. And it's because these things were in place But also at the end, so we had a learning activity. It was meaningful. It was relevant. All the things we just talked about. At the end, she said, now I want you to look at your painting and I want you to tell the story. What is the story here? And I was like, wow, this is a story of a mom and a daughter spending a beautiful day in a rose garden together. They don't have to be reminded to stop and smell the roses. They don't have to be reminded to like slow down. Look at them. They're in no hurry to go anywhere. They're just happily walking along. One has a basket and one has a bouquet. Now, if you're with us, will you guys please say, holy shit, that's a great story. I just told a story within a story, actually. Like, I just told you exactly what happened in this event. And then I told you the story within the story. Okay? And you're hanging on to it. You're listening. You're like, wow, that's pretty amazing. Okay? You guys have got to learn to tell stories in your marketing. You tell stories, you're going to sell your stuff. I promise. I promise all day long. Okay? All right, Amy. So we're now to number 6.
I feel like it needs to have like a trumpet, like burp, 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 closing ceremony. And it cannot be boring.
Cannot be boring. Do you want to share with them the closing ceremony? Just a little, because I don't want to ruin it, but the closing ceremony of the Joy Month Retreat.
Yeah, I was very puzzled about this one item that was in her box, actually. I was like, it involves a candle. Mm-hmm. And I just could not figure out, what do we need? Are we burning like love letters from past exes or something? Like, why is there a candle in this box? And so it was really grounding. And, you know, again, I went into that very nervous, thinking that it was going to be too lovey-dovey feelings, crying. That's just not me. But it really closed it out well in a way that I was comfortable, that made the whole 2 days grounding, and that will just sit with me forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the power of a live event or a virtual event, although we're calling them experiences now. All right. They create such a lasting impact on people that they never forget them. Right. And when I teach, when I teach how to put on a live event, that's my annual live event in New York City. We've postponed it because of COVID, but when I teach it, we call it your signature event. What is the signature event that's going to solidify it for everyone, and they're going to leave and talk about it forever? Because they're never going to forget it. It's memorable. It's engaging. It's meaningful. It closes the whole event with like a nice bow, right? And everyone's like, that was amazing. When can we meet again? That's what we want. This is what we want, right? So, Amy, what do you want to leave people with today? This has been beautiful.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, again, we're almost teaching 2 concepts here, but all tied into virtual events. So, you know, being able to create that engagement, that experience. I feel like this is going to be a Facebook Live that people are talking about for a while now, because it's so unique, something different, but yet it's not so different and so extreme that you're having to invent this huge thing. And so it's those little tweaks that you can make to really tie and personalize and create that conversational space within your experience.
Awesome. So you guys have 2 opportunities in the next week to, 1, get better on video so you can host these amazing things. That's Confidence on Camera, July 28th through 31st, 4 days, 2 p.m. each day. We are going to rock it out in a workshop in this group. All right. You need to get registered so you get your action guide, you get the Zoom link for the homework happy hour, all those cool things. All right. And then Amy has a mini mastermind coming up on next Monday, the 27th. And it's all about this. You guys are going to put an event together. You're going to start the process of thinking about these steps and creating an event that people talk about forever, because that is where the magic is, really, is when people are doing your marketing for you, it gets really easy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Really easy. So Amy, we have a couple questions and I have time. I can answer them. Maria says, is this a Facebook Live on Zoom or Facebook only? And then how are you showing your artwork? Okay, cool.
Oh, like the technology. Okay.
Do you want to handle that, at least the first part of it?
Well, one of the main reasons why we're using Zoom to go live on Facebook is because there's two of us. So if you're just going by yourself, you can just go live. But also, if I understand correctly, Shannon's camera will work only with Zoom when you're going live.
Yes.
So really, Zoom is kind of that common core or that synergy connector of how we're all then streaming this on Facebook Live.
Yeah. And then if you guys can see, and I'll drop this in the group, this is like behind the scenes. So you see me and Amy there on my laptop on Zoom. We're streamed into Facebook, and then you see this arm and it comes out over the top of the desk cam, which is actually sitting right here. You might be able to see a little of it in the, right? And it's over the top of my paper. And we have Maria to thank for all the tech. Let's face it, my zone of genius is not technology. I do not deal with this shit well. But it's pretty fancy, right?
It is a pretty cool setup. I definitely like it.
And I'm really happy because so much of what I want to show people is visual. And it has to like get into your brain, and sometimes me talking isn't always doing it. So I'm really grateful to have Maria and the technology there to do this.
And really awesome handwriting. I just have to throw that out there.
Well, you know, Maria said, how did you get such good handwriting? I said, listen, I had to teach second graders how to print. And you know, do you remember the lined paper with the lines, and you have to make your imperfect, and
which I still use when I write, is lined paper.
Yeah. So my handwriting got really good, and I used to love to write in cursive, but none of my students could read it because they're teaching cursive, actually. Mm-hmm. So the older grades that I taught, the less they could read the cursive. So I had to revert back to print. And thank you for the handwriting compliment. That makes me happy.
Lovely. I'm not seeing other questions in the comments. Yours might be a few seconds ahead of mine, I think. But that is the one thing about the Zoom, Facebook. I have noticed I'm on a little bit of a delay on my Facebook page, so I'm getting questions and comments probably after Shannon is. Just a little insight.
That's okay. We always cycle back through and answer them. So
definitely.
Yeah, so that's it for Training Tuesday. Remember to check the events section. We have all the events coming up. We've got a happy hour, I believe this week or next week on Thursday. We've got the Mastermind with Amy. We've got the workshop. We've got some really cool stuff coming up. We aim and are the best group on Facebook for coaches and consultants to learn how to market, sell, and put relationships first. And we are proud of that. So if you're one of our new members this week, welcome. And we are going to sign out, wishing everyone a beautiful week ahead. And if you have any questions, reach out to Amy. She's the one to talk to. We're ready to enroll you in the Confident Expert program and get you going, building a business of your dreams. Adios, everyone. Bye.
Bye.